Good morning, students. First we are going to discuss about horizontal range and followed by resultant velocity and last one speed. Okay, so let me discuss these three things very elaborately, students. Second we are going to discuss about horizontal range. So what is horizontal range? The distance covered by the projectile from the foot of the tower to the point where the projectile hits the ground is known as horizontal range. In yesterday diagram, I showed the horizontal range. It is represented by the symbol R. Okay, the distance from the height of the tower to the reached by the object hit the ground, that is represented as here X. Okay. Mathematically, we are going to find the horizontal range by using the equation of motion. So for finding the range, I am going to use the second equation of motion, which we know already, S equal to ut plus of at square. So now the horizontal range in the x-axis, so we convert the second equation of motion as S of x equal to u of x into t plus of a t square, and substitute the value. Since S of x equal to r and u of x equal to u and a equal to 0 and small t is converted into capital T, and substitute all the value in the above equation, we get r equal to u into capital T plus of 0 into capital T square. Now coming to right side, the anything into 0, the term will becomes 0, so only we get r equal to u into capital T. Consider this is equation number 1. Yesterday we calculated the time of flight, which is t is equal to square root of 2h by g. Okay, so I am going to substitute this t value in the equation number 1, and I get r equal to u into square root of 2h by g. So which means I substitute the time period value, that is time of flight value, in the equation number 1, and this final equation represents the range of the object hit the ground from the point where it is started. Now what is the conclusion of this equation? Which means the range is directly proportional to the initial velocity u, and the range is inversely proportional to the acceleration due to gravity. Okay, this is very important conclusion, students. So the final equation r equal to u into square root of 2h by g, so which implies that the range is directly proportional to initial velocity and inversely proportional to acceleration due to gravity. So this equation is used to find the horizontal range of an object covered in the distance. Next we are going to discuss about the resultant velocity, which means velocity projectile at any time. Now when during the projectile motion, we are going to calculate the what speed the object hits the ground, that is known as resultant velocity. Now you see, at any instant the t, the projectile has velocity component along both x-axis and y-axis. During the projectile, the object covers both x-axis direction and y-axis direction. Therefore we have to calculate the both velocities in x-axis and y-axis with respect to the time. Okay, now you see the diagram, then you can easily understand the resultant velocity. Students, O is the initial point of the object and it reaches the point P where it is resolving into two components, one is v of x and v of y. Then the resultant velocity will be calculated using the triangle law of addition. Okay, so which we studied in the earlier classes. So using the same method, we are going to calculate the resultant velocity, that is velocity with respect to the time vt. Now the velocity is resolving into two components. From the diagram itself we can identify one is v of x and another one is v of y. First we are going to calculate the v of x using the vertical component at any instant t, using the horizontal component and x-axis. From the first equation of motion, we know v of x equal to u of x plus a of x into t. Now substitute the value, since u of x equal to u and a of x equal to 0. Therefore we get v of x equal to u plus 0 into t, and anything into 0 we know 0, that finally we get v of x equal to u. This is equation number 1. Next we are going to calculate the velocity in the y axis. Using the velocity in the vertical direction of y axis, using the same equation of motion, that is v equal to u plus at, they are covered in y direction, then it is replaced as v of y equal to u of y plus a of y into t. Since u of y is equal to 0 and a of y is equal to g, and substitute in the above term, we get v of y equal to 0 plus gt, and substitute the value, finally we get v of y equal to gt. So this is the velocity resolving in the y component. This is equation number 2. Students, now we are going to calculate the velocity. Using the velocity formula, we have to add the sum of the resolving components in x-axis and y-axis. Now v vector is equal to v of x into I cap plus v of y into j cap. Substitute the v of x value and v of y value, so which we derived earlier. Therefore v vector equal to u of I cap plus g into t j cap. So this is the velocity of the particle at any instant of the t. Then we are going to calculate the speed of the particle at any instant of t. You know the formula, v is equal to square root of v of x square plus v of y square, and substitute the v of x value and v of y value in this equation, and we get v is equal to square root of u square plus g square into t square. So this equation implies to find the resolving velocity. Students, and last one, speed of the projectile when it hits the ground. At what speed it reaches the ground, we are going to calculate. Okay. Now the horizontal velocity from the top of the tower of the height h and the time of flight t is equal to calculate the speed. Since we know the time of flight value, t is equal to square root of 2h by g. Then the horizontal component velocity of the projectile remains the same, which we found in the resultant velocity v of x equal to u. Consider this is equation number 1. Then the vertical component velocity of the projectile at any time t also we found in the resultant velocity in y-axis, that is v of y is equal to gt. Now substitute the t value in this equation, so we get v of y equal to g into square root of 2h by g. Now I am going to split the square root inside the right hand side, so I get root g into root g into root 2h by root g, and cancel root g, and I get root g into root 2h, and multiply this value, and I get v of y is equal to square root of 2gh. So next we are going to find the speed. So we find the velocity in the y component and velocity in the x component, and substitute in the speed. We know the formula. The speed is equal to, that is v is equal to square root of vx square plus vy square. And since we know v of x equal to u and v of y equal to root 2gh, and we get square root of u square plus square root of 2gh the whole square, and the square root and whole square will cancel each other, and finally we get the speed v is equal to square root of u square plus 2gh. This implies the speed of the object reaches the ground. Students, the next topic, a very important 5-mark question, the projectile under an angular projection, that is the second type of projectile motion. So we are not going to discuss right now. In tomorrow's Zoom class, lively we are going to discuss this topic. Okay, don't miss the Zoom class, because it is very important 5-mark question which will be asked in your public exam. Students, now we are going to see a very important problem in our example. Example 2.36. Now I read the question, listen carefully. A train was moving at the rate of 54 km per hour when brake were applied. It came to rest within a distance of 225 meter. Calculate the retardation produced in the train. Okay, retardation means negative potential or negative acceleration. So here, what are the data given? The initial velocity is given. So that is 54 km per hour is the initial velocity. One thing you have to remember, the velocity is measured only in meter per second, not in kilometer per hour. So first thing we have to convert that kilometer power into meter per second. So how I convert? See, so 54 into, so 1 kilometer equal to 1000 meter, isn't it? So 1000 divided by, the hour is converted into second. So for 1 hour, 60 minute into 60 second. Therefore 60 into 60, 3600. So that is divided by 1000 divided by 3600, and cancel we get 5 by 18. So 54 into 5 by 18 meter per second. Then divide 5 by 18, we get 0.2777. So rounding off, I get 0.28. Then 54 into 0.28, so nearly I get 15 meter per second. So this is the initial velocity. So this is very important step, students. So first of all, you have to convert the kilometer per hour into meter per second. Okay, then the final velocity v is equal to 0, and the distance is 225 meter, and we have to find the retardation. Okay, now we solve the problem, students. So already I told you the retardation means negative acceleration. Therefore the acceleration is converted into minus a. Using the third equation of motion, I am going to find the acceleration, that is retardation. So v square equal to u square plus 2a, yes, and substitute a equal to minus a. Therefore the equation becomes v square equal to u square minus 2a, yes, and substitute the value, we get 0 square equal to 15 square minus 2 into a into 225. Okay, since we know 15 square is the 225 minus 2 into 225, 450. So therefore we get 450a. Then the minus 450a will move in the left side and becomes plus 450a equal to 225. Since we need only a value, therefore a equal to 225 divided by 450, and cancel each other, we get 1 by 2. Since 1 by 2 value is 0.5, therefore the acceleration, that is retardation a, is equal to 0.5 meter per second.